All right. Check out what's going on here. You guys should be able to hear me. Should be able to see my screens over there. I'm doing the monitoring and different types of systems work that we're doing. And I am going to be kind of working less than T. Yeah, you are the first. That's true. And you subscribed again? Nice. Thank you for that. That keeps you from having to watch ads, which is always good. What am I working on? I'm doing a little bit of co-working. I got a little more stuff to finish for today, so I'm still going to be doing a little bit of work. And we can talk to the things on the right, talk about how some of this stuff works. Talk about the upcoming Linux administration courses that I know people have enjoyed in the past, and we're going to get more people to do that with us because they'll be good. Trevor's over here, and Adaverk over on the other side. Yeah, I'm on a little earlier than normal for a Friday. Normally on Friday I'll go live in another hour or two, but I figure I'd hop on now because I still got, I got grading to do. I got college, well, these are discussion questions, so they're not like heavy, like deep grading topics or anything. I'm doing just kind of making sure students are doing their number of requisite posts and also treating English language like they should. Fun fact about that, you guys might say, I want to be an engineer. It doesn't matter how well I, how well I do all the talky. Well, it does a little bit, man. It does. Like, there's 4 C's of technical writing, right? And it's good to be at least familiar with each of them. So, I'm not going to get up on my soapbox too much here about that, but that's definitely something that's kind of valuable. Got to practice getting up real early. Out of work, I get up at 4:20 in the morning. I get up at 4:20. This morning I went and wrestled. It was kind of funny. It was me and 4 other guys at the gym. It was an open mat, so not as many people go to an open mat. And let's see. It was 2 purple belts, a blue belt, and a white belt. And then I'm a black belt, right? I've been doing it for a long time. And the blue belt hurt the white belt. So we're like, ah. And then one of the purple belts is I think he's kind of like, he does mental health, but I think he also, has some history and maybe physical therapy stuff. Yeah, I get up at 4:20. Yeah, take a shower, head into the gym. Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, not on Saturdays and Sundays always, but yeah, during the week, yeah, I try to get in there at least 4 times a week, maybe 5, and then I need to find something to do on the weekends with it. But mostly, I've been hanging out with you guys on the weekends, so that's fine. All right, but I do have a little bit of something to do here today, so I can't just mess around today. I actually do have to do a deployment, but we'll get to that here in a minute, because I know for all parties involved. We want to get some of our other stuff done. So let me, I'm just going to kind of watch chat and hang out. No, I take a hot shower. Oh gosh, no, not a cold shower. That would kill me. I'm going to go through and do my, my grading in this other window here. But I will, just kind of watch chat and talk to you guys a little bit while I run through some of the grading stuff here in my other window. We have, as with most colleges, we have discussion policies where you have to go in and do the discussion. You have to get X amount of posts, or you have to go in and actually watch the course. And then, like I tell people all the time, like, it's cool that you attended the course. Like, attending the course is the reason you're in college, right? To go sit there and listen to somebody. But, people will forget sometimes, or they'll just post that and they won't do a write-up. And it's like, I try to tell people, like, for me, the write-up is one of the most important parts, because I want to know what you've learned, like, I want to know what your takeaway was from that hour you sat there. Just showing up to a class and not getting anything out of it would be probably about as pointless and useless as anything could be. Also, I got a pretty good story yesterday. I enjoy when funny things happen in the tech world. I'll tell you guys a funny story. Well, I think funny story anyways about that. Yeah, the old college try. This one's actually funny. So I go down to a customer of ours. So my company Redline, we get a new customer, and it's out here in Phoenix. So they're sending out one of the guys that kind of is, he's a technical guy, but he's also one of our kind of like, he likes to do the sales and the project planning and that kind of stuff. So he does PM type stuff as well, but he's also pretty technical. And he comes out, and then me and this other guy James go down there. So there's three of us, and I'm meeting Kyle for the first time, and like we're down there with this new customer, right? So we're meeting all of them. I'm meeting one of the members of my team and all this other stuff. And I know that one of my former college students is down in that building somewhere. And I said, hey, do any of you guys know this guy? He's one of my former college students. And the main dude that was with us goes, well, yeah, that's one of my employees. You want me to get him up here? And I go, no, he was one of my college students like 15 years ago. We keep in touch on LinkedIn. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll bring him up later. So anyway, so that's fine. So then later we're going and we're visiting their actual data center. And when we get down the data center, two of the guys that are manning like their data center operations were my college students as well. So it was really funny. Like these guys were like, Scott knows everybody. And I'm like, I have never met three of my college students in the wild before. I've met them one at a time over the years because I've had over 5,000 college students now. But I've never met three of them on the same day at the same company. So that's kind of like, we were joking around about the legend of Scott Grows. And that's amusing to me. That, yeah, again, like, I mean, I didn't even expect to meet the one, I just was like, hey, I know he's somewhere here in this building. And then the guy's like, oh, no, it's, he's one of my guys. So then we ended up, we didn't get to talk because we were doing a lot of business stuff. So I didn't get to talk to those guys. I was doing two things. I was there to help secure their system. And then I was there to help do some performance-based testing of their system, which we might get into. We will definitely be touching performance stuff in just the general engineering course that we're going to run. We jumped over to security engineering because that was one that I thought would be fun to talk about, coming up. Hold on, sorry, guys, I'm grading, so I'm like looking at this other screen as I talk. But I'd like to, in just a generic engineering course, we are going to talk about like, what the engine is, and how we continuously improve things, which by the way mirrors a talk that I gave. It'll be similar type of idea to a talk that I gave called Why Engineering last year. WHY, like the question. I always look down at my little text to speech, and my text to speech is always doing ridiculous stuff. Yeah. All right, hold on. Still grading, guys. Still grading over here. Finish up. Let me finish up this row of grades, and then I'll come back. I'm just making sure that people are being correct, concise, clear, and coherent. Right? Those are your 4 C's of technical writing. And correct, clear, coherent, and concise. Those are the ones that I remember being taught. Oh, whoops, 100. I just gave a student 110 points instead of 10 points. That's not good. All right, I fixed it. It's actually funny. My grade book will tell me if there's high outliers in grades. Keeps track of averages and that kind of stuff. It'll tell me if I grade, like if I put 110 instead of a 10, it'll tell me. Which you do not want to give somebody 110 out of 10. That would skew everything else. Also, fun fact, 16 plus years of college teaching, I have never, ever once given extra credit. Now, somebody can call me a monster, but I bet you the alternative of what I do is better. But does anybody here know, or has anybody heard me say what I do as a college professor? That is, but I've never given an extra credit assignment, nothing, never once. But I do have something that I think is more than fair as a professor. That's good for now. All right, almost done. I have 53 students in one of these classes. That's a lot. You get a lot more online students than like when we used to have in class, students actually sitting there. I never had more than like maybe 35 was probably my max ever. But no. Redos is pretty close, Iowa fault. I'd say that's pretty fair. How about this? I've never given a test or a quiz. Okay, well, finals don't really count as tests. We'll call finals something separate. But I've never given a quiz in my class that you can't redo for full points. You can always give one of my quizzes another shot. And the way that you have to do it, though, is everything that you got wrong, you have to write the right answer for me. And I'll give you the right answer, but then you have to go explain to me in like a paragraph or two why. And I don't care why the wrong answer is wrong, because being wrong is irrelevant in engineering, just so you guys all know. The only thing that matters in engineering is correctness. And that's terrible to say, but it's true. I mean, it's simply being correct is the only thing that matters in engineering. Something either works or it's every other variation other than working is broken, right? I mean, that's true, right? Like, even when we were deploying this thing the other day, and when things were broken, it was like, well, the thing's broken until we fix it. There's no other thing in there, you know? All right, but anyways, I got finished with that one row. I have 3 more rows like the row that I just graded, but I will call that a pause for a second there. I haven't mentioned this yet here, but we do have a Linux course coming up, and I kind of alluded to it, but we have a Linux course coming up again for people that want to go and try to learn some of the Linux systems administration parts of this. That's a big part of like why I even get online and stuff, is to tell you guys like, hey, there's a group of people out there that'll help you do this, help you learn how to do this stuff professionally, hopefully, and get you into there. Yeah, it's March 22nd, so it's not this weekend, but I think, is that next weekend start? Yeah. So not this weekend, but next Saturday. So eight days from today, we're starting that. And then, just so everybody knows, it's not 88 days from today. It's 8 days. It's eight days. March 22nd. On that day, I'm going to let you guys know that I'm out on the 29th, so that will not be the second day of it. The second day of both courses will be on the April 5th, just so everybody knows. Oh, nice, Trevor. Yeah, we're going to do that site update here. Let me close out this grade. Let me do this grade stuff real quick, just so I can close this out and be done with it. Oh, shoot. What's going on over here? 0. Okay. All right. Let me grade this next little row, and then we'll get to the deployment here in a second. I'll also hopefully take a little better notes than I did last time too, because we were talking about getting some notes. All right, out of 5. I'll speed grade that. All right. So I don't know how many of you guys have thought about college or gone to college, but one of the things that you kind of run into, and I mean, I've, having done this a long time, both myself being there and being at a few different colleges, is like a lot of the college experience is really just, honestly, a lot of it's reading the shit yourself, Like, yeah, sure, you've got somebody to guide you and you got somebody to help you answer questions. And one of the most important things is you've got a syllabus that walks you through the expectations kind of from start to finish. In fact, that might be a good thing for me to work on today here when I'll be on camera here in a little bit. I'm just kind of hanging out in show mode while I'm working on this other stuff. But a lot of this stuff is really like, college is a lot of self-study. And I really think you get a lot out of what you put into it. And I'm the same way with any of these courses. Anybody that comes to these courses, it'll feel like a college class if you've been in one. That's mainly because that's what I know how to run. And also, it's going to feel like, oh, hey, we've met and we've talked about all this stuff, but oh wait, now I got to go do all this work. Yeah, well, that's how college is supposed to be. For every, I was taught when I was younger, for every 1 hour you're in class, it should be at least 2 hours outside studying, right? But I would say, in this course, it's going to be 1 hour on, or about an hour with me or the group, and then I'd say about 8 to 10 hours of your own time studying and working on that stuff. Because again, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Like if you just keep doing whatever you're doing and not getting better at this stuff, well then, you know, I can't make anybody do anything. I've told you guys that, right? Like if you just lay back, I have college students that have tried to do this over the years. They just sit back, cross their arms, and go teach me. Nobody can teach you shit if you don't want to learn it. I can tell you that for sure. Nobody can teach anybody anything if they don't want to learn it. That is a fact. All right, anyways, Scott, I saw 2 events coming up on Discord. Aren't they? No, they don't interfere with each other. No, they're 2 hours away from each other. Well, there's an hour break, I guess, but no. I would tell people, if you haven't finished the first one, I would do the first one, because the second one's not going to be slow. It's not going to be like a lot of hand-holding. The hand-holding and working together will be with the people doing it. If they want to sit around and work on stuff and get better. But like, we're going to go, like for the hour or so that I do that, we're going to go at like the 1 speed. And it's because that's out of necessity, right? We can only do so much. If I'm spending all this time doing other stuff, we won't get through everything. All right, let's go see if ProLUG.org is up. Should be up. Let's see. Okay, it's up, but we're gonna be deploying a new version of that here in a minute. Two more pages of things to grade. Hold on. Oh, also I gotta do discussions. Hold on. I gotta do my own discussions. Give me a second here. All right. Okay. Gotta start knocking out the old zeros. So when I go through my grade book, I always hit all the zeros first. Zeros are just things not turned in, right? Super easy to find them in a grade book. Well, in a good grade book. And then you go back through and you grade the things that did get turned in. Oops. That's just kind of the way that I do my grading. Obviously, for many reasons, can't show you guys that stuff, but there's that, yeah. Yeah, the Atavirk, yeah, the site's up. We're gonna deploy a new version of it here in a little bit. We'll do that on the right side over there where you guys kind of just see everything spinning. I'll go ahead and set it up and make sure that we're pulling everything correctly and we're redeploying everything. I'll probably just make it part of the procedure where I blow away the local repo that we have, because there's actually, you know what? We won't blow away the local repo. I'll just properly do a push this time, because God, that was stupid last time. I forgot to do a push. I was like spinning off far in a field, and I had just forgotten to push to my repo. So that was stupid. And this, when I say repo, I mean container repo, right? So we had built the container, and then I just hadn't pushed the other stuff up. Yeah, let me finish. I just have a little bit of grading still, guys. Let's see how big this other class is. Man, I have 2 big classes this quarter. Let's go look at their discussions. Also, some of you guys know I'm moving full-time next week back to NOAA, which is National Oceanographic Atmospheric Agency. My company's been working with them for a long time, over 20 years. My company's been working with them, and I'm going back over there full-time. But you say full-time, didn't you say you do all these other things? Well, the company still, has me working on these other projects, and I actually sit in front of my computer so much that I enjoy that stuff anyways. But it's there. Trevor, yeah. Document for the playbook. Yeah, actually, I do know. Speaking of the playbook part of it, I do know quite a bit of the things that we could do. Yeah, to turn that into a playbook. But yeah, we'll start. We'll get that going here. Give me this 59 in this class. Geez, what did I say? 53 in the other. 59 in this one. Oh, those are big classes. Oh, actually, you know what? That means that reminds me of something. I gotta go do something else at the college. So many things to do. So many things to do, guys. I'm just staying busy here. All right, tried to get me to sign up for some women's march thing. I can't. I don't think I'm allowed to do women's marches. That's what the college just tried to like offer me to sign up for this thing, and I'm like, I don't think I can do that if I want to. All right, anyways, what is it? 6 p.m. to. I'm putting all my shifts in now. 9 p.m. This is always fun. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Anybody working on anything fun this weekend? Any good project work coming up? Anybody doing anything on the side? Trevor, we used to use Blackboard. I think our system currently is it used to be Blackboard, and now I think it's all a tool called Canvas. But back in the day, it was Blackboard for sure. For sure. Okay, that's going to be till 5 p.m. And that one's going to be also to 5 p.m. All right, that works. All right, let me come over here. Got to do this is like just so much stuff to keep track of, right? 6 to 9. Too many things to keep track of. I try not to context switch like I just did, where I went from grading to this kind of stuff. I like to just do one thing. That's my engineering type workflow. But sometimes you guys will see that I'm a madman, and I just kind of do everything. And it's not great. It's better to stay focused on one thing for me. But I do want to get this part done and out of the way real quick. 5 p.m. and then 12 to 5. Okay. Select all, authorize, save. Boom, that's us. Hey, Killa, how's it going? We are not working too hard yet. I'll be on stream here in a little bit. I'll actually be on camera in a little bit. I just I'm cleaning up some college stuff that I hadn't done yet, and I can't obviously do that on stream. It's not professional. It's not within federal regulations of what's called FERPA, FERPA. That's a funny name, I know, but that's the Federal Education something Privacy Act, Regulation Privacy Act, something like that. And I have to adhere to that. Also, it's just, it's bad business. You shouldn't be showing people's grades, obviously. So that's why I'm doing that off on the other screen, where you guys can just kind of hang out with me and we're talking before I, let's say, go live for real here in a little bit, and just kind of I'll pop on and we'll do some stuff and work on some stuff. So yeah, we'll get some stuff going. Where is you fix your Proxmox stuff? Nice. ACL issues. Yeah, nice. Yeah, your stuff's pretty locked down, I think, Killa. At least if that's what I was thinking about that I had looked at. It's all a blur, man. We were at that not government, but just a customer site yesterday for, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours we were out there. And it was rainy in Phoenix, actually. And today it's rainy in Phoenix, too. It's weird when, like, I look on the like what's the forecast, and it's like, okay, it's only going to be 60 something today, and I go, okay, 60 something is cool in Phoenix at this time of year, but I mean it's good. And then today I expect it to be back up in like the mid 70s, But then I get a alert for today that's like, no, actually, it's going to be 14 degrees cooler. So it's like I think it's like low 50s right now in Phoenix, which is it's 55 right now. It says on my count or on my weather thing, but that is very, very cool for our part of the country, for a giant desert in the Southwest, Phoenix. Um, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that is quite cool for us. So it's cloudy. I'm looking outside. It's cloudy, overcast. Yeah, it's a nice day. I like overcast days like this. Um, what's going on here? I feel like that hasn't moved in a while. Excuse me. All right. Let's get back to. Yeah, it was windy and rainy yesterday. Yeah, Killa. I don't, because you're out. You're out a little further over from me, over to the east. I was actually more in central Phoenix yesterday for this customer. So let me finish this grade and stuff. Hold on, I gotta go finish out these course objective grades. All right. And we'll begin here in earnest in a little bit. We'll go change over my titles and we'll do some real stuff. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm on the. Actually, you know what? That's interesting to me. I wonder if. Hold on. Does Pretzel Rocks. If I do song, does it tell you what the song is? I thought I had that set up. Oh. I guess I don't. I tried it over on the Twitch side to see, but apparently it. I thought I had that set up back. Maybe I think I turned Pretzel Rocks off for talking in chat. I think that's what it was. There we go. Oh, what did I just do? I didn't mean to do whatever I just did. That's terrible. Killed my song. Killed the vibe. All because I tried to... Alright, we're going to chalk that up as one of the things that we don't like about Pretzel Rocks. Alright, I gotta go find my station again that I was on. Chill. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Oh, guys, I gotta talk to my brother real quick. Give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. My brother just texted me and said, do I got time for a call? So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave. All of you guys are in charge. Hey, what's up, man? All right, guys, I'm back. I was talking to my brother. He's telling me about he's got everybody at work fighting over him, which is it's a good spot to be. You know, he does data analytics. So some of you guys have heard him. Some of you guys have heard him talk. He comes to the group every now and then. All right. Let me finish cleaning this up. Grading. Nothing better than a bunch of grading. Make sure I got all the grades looking right. Also, I should tie one of these in. Where's the... Let me put it after that one. Yeah, because it'll be a little brighter and then it'll be really bright. But I wonder if the government page has a dark mode. Hold on. I wonder if I can get a dark mode on this one. Is that dark mode on here? Nah. Sometimes you can get a page. Get out of here. Go to dark mode. Nah, I don't see one. All right. I'll leave this up because I do think this is important. I think this is an important thing to understand if you want to get into cybersecurity and if you're playing, everybody thinks they want to play red, but 99.5 or higher people never play red team stuff professionally. That's not in the cards for everybody. But most all of you should be playing defense no matter what your role or title is. You should be always ready to defend your systems, and you should be building them in a defensible way, which is also super important. So like with some of that HIPAA stuff, we're going to be building that in on the STIGs, and I'm going to show how that ties in across industries, because different industries have different requirements. You can't always just throw DISA STIGs at every problem. Different requirements. Even I was just saying earlier about the FERPA Act. Like colleges have other requirements as well for how they handle data and how encrypted it is and all this stuff. So, level of encryption, data at rest, data in motion. We talk about that pretty regularly around here. So there's Adverk, thanks for coming by. Probably already gone, but still. I appreciate it. Oh, but back to my brother who called. He's on a team doing data analytics, and then there were two other teams. One he interviewed with, and they told him, "Oh no, we're going this other route." And he's like, "Okay," but they said, "Well, but we like you, and we'd like to pull you back. If there is a position." Well, they contacted him, and also he had put in for another team, so he's got his manager trying to keep him right now, and then he's got two other teams that are trying to take him right now, all with pay raises for it. And I'm like, and I've told him, like, because like my brother does well, but when I've told him, I'm like, he's almost done with his master's in data analytics. He's been doing data for, I want to say, a little over 2 or 3 years now for his company officially. And I told him, I'm like, dude, there's no way that they're going to be able to pay you. Like, you're going to have such a bump in your value in the industry that they're not going to be able to keep that up without you moving around a few times. Yeah, Johnny, I think anybody in any type of IT should think that they're playing blue all the time. If you're not playing offense, 100, like if you don't know you're playing offense, you should be actively playing defense. But I don't think a lot of people think like that. A lot of people don't think how secure their system is and that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to try to do in the security engineering courses. Think through things as a systems engineer with a security mindset, because the one thing I always tell you guys, like on operations team, the only thing that matters on operations is availability of the system, like uptime. But feeding into uptime is, well, nobody's done availability, knocked out your availability. Nobody's changed the integrity, because if they damage the integrity and you're not able to read or use the data, or it's bad data or whatever, that would also be against that first one. So my point is, like, however you look at your security, you're always playing security, no matter where you're at in operations or tech or whatever. So, all right. One more. I got one more line here to run through of discussions, and then I'll be all done grading. I will. Let me do one more thing though. I do want to do a discussion post in this class. So yeah, again, the music's chill. It's chill Friday. We don't work too hard on Fridays around here, guys. We just kind of hang out. I will be on camera again in a little bit here. It's just starting off doing some co-working stuff. All right. And why would we want to know that? I always ask my students when I respond to their discussion questions, like, and why would we want to know that? Like, because I ask I deal a fair amount in like technical. I'll ask a technical question about, the difference between connection oriented and like a connectionless protocol, something like that. And I'll say, and why do we want to? Because anybody can go find the book answer to that, right? Like any of you could go right now and just ask a bot, go ask online, chat GPT, I'm sure, and it would tell you everything about connectionless and connection oriented protocols, and it would probably even tell you why you would want to know it, the difference between them. But I think that that goes back to like that Bloom's taxonomy that we sometimes talk about, where the first thing that you learn typically about something is the definitions and the constructs and that kind of stuff. So you learn the two parts of the protocols, and then you start comparing them against each other to see which way each piece works, right? So, all right. Let me go down here. Let me finish up. I'm grading in this other window, so. Oh, and I gotta sneeze. Oh, man. Very violent sneeze. Let's see if I can't grade everything. All right. Good stuff. Had to turn that music down just a little bit. Yeah, thank you for that, Johnny. All right, let me get that. And grading 59 more, 49 now, more items. That's what we're doing. Project EP, what are you doing at the moment? I am actually just sitting here grading papers in a different window for a couple different college classes. I'm almost done though. You guys are just kind of sitting around hanging out. Oh, is my thing? Oh, it's working again. Okay. I thought my text to speech was busted. Or speech to text rather, my CC. No, I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm watching a system. That's just some checks in IOStat and I think like a couple of perf commands. Just kind of watching a system spin, and then we are looking at some just web pages that are relevant to kind of what we do around here. And then we are going to redeploy our web page here in a little bit as well. But I got to get through these last little things, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're just kind of hanging out. We don't work too hard on Friday afternoons. Probably right as soon as I get done grading this, I'll check see if there's anything else I got to do. And then if I got no other tasks, I'll probably hop on camera here for a little bit. But that's kind of how I'm ending off my week. I did pretty long. I actually worked most of last weekend, which I'm going to work this weekend too because I just tend to work a lot. But I am kind of taking my Friday a little easy. The grandbaby is in town. However, the grandbaby is out with the sister-in-law, so his great aunt or aunt, however you want to say that word. And so I won't see him until later. So that means that I kind of have all this time. Sometimes, like the last few days when I've been streaming, he's been popping in during the stream, which is kind of funny because he's just like a little 4-year-old terror. He just runs around, just a terror, just doing whatever he wants, which I think is funny. But you know, that's the cool thing about grandbabies. You get to get them all wound up and then give them back. All right, where are we at here? Still grading stuff, getting papers. These are discussion questions, so they're not really papers. Discussion posts. All right. I think I have everything else done. Had to do a grade change form earlier, which was if somebody has an incomplete in a college class, then you have until a certain time in the next semester typically, which we're doing quarters right now, so it's not even semester, but, and then, at least for my college, and then I had to fix their grade, and that was good. It's all work. It's all just mind-numbing work. Not fun engineering stuff. Although, for some of you guys that missed, if you missed the beginning, I was saying how yesterday I was at a new customer here in the Phoenix area, a local customer, and I was down at their site, and I ran into 3 of my different former college students at the same time. So they're all working down there, 2 of them in their data center, and 1 of them up in their data analytics, high-performance compute stuff, which is what I was there for. I was actually meeting with one of their managers, and I thought that was kind of funny. Like, you know, I had told him, we were talking, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I teach a little bit and this, and then it's funny that we just kept running into more and more people. So 3 is now my record of however of my former college students I've run into on one day. Again, these I did not know that they were down there. I did not know that these guys were working at that college, or not. It's not a college. It's a research facility, but former college students of mine that worked there. It's kind of funny. I didn't know that 3 of them did, and they were all in tech, so that's kind of cool. Good when your college students stay with what you taught them. You know, you wouldn't want to. Well, you wouldn't necessarily want to run into a former college student of yours that wasn't doing what you had taught them. That wouldn't be as much fun, you know. It'd be like, but anyways, all right. I'm done with all those, so I can close that up for now. Let me get that crap out of the way. All right, so I'm back to this. Let me. Let me turn my camera on over here. Get rid of cold aisle over here. We'll pull this over. All right, then we'll do some real work. exactly where that's good there. Let's see. Yeah, it looks okay. Although apparently I'm wearing a more blue shirt than normal. All right, that's fine. Let's see. I think that's probably about as good as we're going to get it. All right, let's transition this over. So you guys should be able to see me. And yeah, there we go. All right, we'll get that out of studio mode. We don't need any of that stuff anymore. All right, we're going to do some actual work and stuff for a little bit. So let's do, the first thing I need to do, and I know Trevor's probably not around, but if he is around, we got to start doing this other thing here, which is, oops, hold on, Control Z for you. Where did I do this? I think I did this here originally. That's weird. Oh, it was here. All right, let's go do a little bit of this. All right, let me move this up too so you guys can read it. All right. One of the things when I switch from my co-working session to this one, I just use this whole monitor, so then it's real easy for me to make sure everything's laid out. If you do like normal layouts and stuff inside of, for you guys that like to do that stuff inside of like OBS, there's just a little bit different view based on that. All right, so we're gonna stay here on this page for a minute because we're gonna be working on this stuff. Also, we're gonna do one other thing with that. Here's that page, and we're going to also do the direct one, which is prolug.asus here. So there's the actual course being directly hosted, and then here's the hosted course through AWS CloudFront. Doesn't matter that much to most of you guys, but let's go do some stuff here real quick. So let's say sh2, I think I had it in my buffer. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's go SSH over here. Come the Scott user, and let's go to our website. All right, so we're in a server, we're here, we're as this user Scott, because you don't do this stuff, you don't do deployments on the root account. Typically you're going to run things through like a user account, so we use the Scott user. Reggie, hey, I'm doing good. We're just kind of hanging out, and we're going to rebuild this project over here on the right because we have a new version of this. So quick idea of the workflow for this. What do I want to draw on this one? Let's just save this one. Save to the regular file, and then we'll just, yep, that's fine. And we're just gonna blow our canvas away real quick. And then also, just for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna move this over here because the way that my drawing pad is set up, it uses this whole page. And you might say, well, why would that matter then? Well, because when I'm about to try to draw some of this with my, if I try to draw it with my pad, it's easier to write on a pad on the left side of the pad. If your hand's going off the pad, it's not as easy to write with. So that's why I just flipped this around, not for any other reason. But let's say that this is the idea of this is right here. We'll have our K8s cluster, right? And that's how it's running internally. And that's comprised of individual nodes, right? For you guys that care, there's 3 nodes. They are prod K8s-1 through 3. This is how we do our, right, this is just how I run it in the home lab. You could run it with more, you could run it with 1. I mean, there's no rule. And 2, well, there's good practice, right? There's always good practice, but we're doing a lab environment, so it doesn't really matter that much. And what we're going to do here is in this Kubernetes cluster, we are going to, on any one of these boxes, right, we're going to start doing some stuff. And the process is going to kind of look like this. It's going to be to, well, let's just say a full deploy. So would be one, let's just say archive old version, right? So archive old version of the page, right? So we'll pull our old version of the deployment, right? And then we'll download NuGet repo, right? So we'll download the NuGet into wherever it's going to go. We'll build the container. We'll push container to local repository, right? Then we will, for the purposes of this, we will break down, so because we don't care about like 100% uptime. If we cared about 100% uptime, we would make a new version of the site. Do we want to do that, Trevor? Do we want to do that just for... yeah, okay, I'll show you guys how to do that. We'll flip it over. We won't take the original page down. So for we'll do blue-green deploy, right? So for blue-green deploy, so BG, this will be blue, green deploy of new page, right? And that will be deploy new page, or new what the fuck are they called? Deploy new deployment, and then we'll flip over the service, right? So it'll never go down, right? Yeah. This is actually, Trevor, this is the way we really should be doing it, right? If we care about the CI/CD part of it. By the way, guys, I'm talking to Trevor over on the YouTube side. So if you're like, who the hell is he talking to? He's not in the Twitch chat. It's over on the YouTube side. Flip over the versions and then verify, right? Verify. It'll look something like this. This won't maybe be exactly, but then what'll happen up here is within the Kubernetes cluster, you've got kind of this service here, and this is really where the magic in Kubernetes happens. There's a service, and the service is the external facing, right? And that service, I'm ascribing him a he looks down at the deployment here. So there'll be like a little deployment. This is where it'll get a little messy. And this deployment will have multiple pods in it, right? Pods. Like he'll be an Nginx pod, or in this case, he's like a Go pod, I think. Yeah, he's Go. And what will happen here is this. So the service will be pointing at the old one here, or it'll be pointing at this deployment. We'll make a new deployment, and then he'll be facing, maybe, let me close that in a little bit. So this will be our blue deployment. Let's just say for now. And then we're going to point him to the green deployment, which is the new one. That's what we're going to end up doing. So boom. Put that over here. This will be the green deployment. And I have labs that show you how to do this stuff, right? But we're going to do it live here in a second. And one of the things that I would do here then is this. Boom. Make that all this, because this is where we're going, right? We're not to that yet. No, maybe that's better. Yeah. So we're going there. All right, whatever. I just want to draw something up a little bit. Yeah, Truesdale, we use this is Excalidraw. It's free, and every time I show this to an engineer, they start using it. So yeah, I think it's a good tool. Plus, I've showed you guys, I can have you guys in the same thing, like working with me. You guys could be drawing stuff as well. Although, since we're being a little serious right now, I'm not doing that. All right. Yeah, it's Alpine Go. Yep. All right, so let's go here, and we are going to take down here in the PLS, right? This is all the stuff that's current. So I'm going to go up one, and I'm going to take the PLS. I'm going to move PLS into archive. Whoops, archive old as PLS. Let's say .v1. Let's just say it's actually v2 if we care, but we didn't start the versioning yet. So that's going to be in there. And if we cd to archive, we'll have the PLS. That was the original one we did, and then version 1. We're just going to call this one version 2 for simplicity's sake, even though it's technically the third deploy of this we're doing. All right, so we move that off, right? We get that out of the way. If I were to come back to my, where did I put it? Right here. So archive old version of the deployment, we would want to add in, you know, just this would be move PLS to archive underscore old PLS dot v1, let's say, right? So that's out of the way now, right? We don't have that anymore. It's out of here. Now I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna steal this command for myself that I did a couple weeks ago now. I'm just gonna do a history, grep-i get, and here is our clone for that. This is our command that actually clones it down. Yeah, it should be this one, right? And assuming that one works right now, whoops, right click. We're gonna download that. This will be download the new Git repo. Right, so there we go. And then we're going to run our build. And our build is actually going to be a command that we just used. History podman. And we are going to podman compose. Is it compose? I thought it was just podman build like this. Yeah, here we go. Podman build this, right? And this will build. It'll download. So it'll download the Alpine, do all the Go, push the code in there. You can always go and look at these if you guys haven't used these before. There's a lot of stuff online that'll show you guys how to build containers. There's some really good stuff on Killer Coda that'll show you how to secure containers, so you can learn how to build a container and secure it at the same time. That's a value, I think, for you guys if you don't do that. Yeah, Trevor, I think the Podman Compose Up was when we were troubleshooting. Honestly, I think the problem was I just wasn't tagging it and then pushing it. So we're going to tag it. Hold on. So tag it. Boom. And then we're going to do our push build when it's done. Here's going to be our thing. We're going to tag it like this, and then we're going to push it. And there will be... Actually... I wonder if I can just push it since the tag already exists. That's fine. We're just going to do it like this. We're going to do that, and then we're going to push it right here. And we're going to ignore TLS because it's local, and that's fine. So this is going to push over the top of the one that's there, right? And then writing manifest. Okay, good. So those two ones, hold on. Let's go grab this real quick. Podman tag. Boom. I'm just throwing some notes in here too, so we can compare. Right. Now you might say, Scott, what the hell is this local host registry you're doing? What is that? Well, so in my home lab, and because I'm lazy, I probably should just have my own image registry out there internally. I just don't do enough Kubernetes right now, especially in the home lab to justify it. But we do just have one on this set of boxes. So in this Kubernetes cluster here, off to the side, we've just got a, I'll show you here real quick. Actually, is it even Podman PS? I don't even actually, now that I think about it, he's running just in Podman. He's not even in Kubernetes. Oh, such bad practice. But anyways, we're in the home lab, so it's fine. He's just a Docker IO registry. That's all he is, and he's just running on port 5000 internally. That's all he is. So he's even outside of the K8s cluster. Don't get me started on that. It is really bad practice. You really shouldn't be running. This is like a rogue instance, but whatever, it's home lab. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want in the home lab, right? Because I just, do as I say, not as I do in good engineering. Don't. The way I do shit in my home lab is so bad. But again, I don't do this stuff professionally for the most part. All right. So what we're going to do, let's watch this. We've got that built. We've got that pushed. Let's go up one. And we've got the service, so we have all that, and the website is right here. So this is how we've been doing the website. So let's say more ProLUG website .yaml. And we've been pushing up to ProLUG website. The selector and the labels are going to be, sorry, this is in the, the actual deployment, ProLUG website. But we're going to put a V2 on this one. So I said that we were going to call this version 2, yeah. So we're going to deploy this. We're going to put, on all this, we're going to put a V2. So we'll have a version 2. So they'll be running next to each other. And then we're going to go to the service, and we're going to tell the service, don't use that ProLUG-website anymore. Now use the ProLUG website-version 2, and it'll immediately flip over to the new version. And if you want to see that, for people that want to see that in like more detail, the killer coda for that, I'll show you the lab that does that. Oh, right. I'll give you guys the killer coda lab that does that. It's in our Kubernetes labs. And then it's the blue-green. So we're doing a true blue-green deployment right here. And I'll link this to you guys if anybody wants to go do that and mess with that. Boom, boom. I accidentally put a slash on it on the YouTube side, or on the Twitch side. Don't worry about that. But I just want to show you guys. This is what we're truly doing. Is this right here? I'll get that out of the way. This is what we're doing. We're taking a service that's pointing as a front end to one deployment, and we're cutting it over to the green. You always go from blue to green. So if you ever wonder, like, which one's blue and which one's green, we just, in this case, I actually called it blue and green. But anyways, there you go. So that's what we're doing right now. We're about to cut this over. But because of that, I'm going to version this now. So I'm going to version this. I'm going to copy that to that dot v2, let's say, right? Even though it's technically the third one, we'll just call it v2. All right, and then we're going to vi ProLUG website dot v2 dot yaml, and in here, for each of these on the name, you can do this different ways, but let's just do v2, right? And the selector label will be dash v2. It's fine. And then down here, we'll just do dash v. Whoops. V2. Now, it actually doesn't matter in the container name, but if we wanted to, we could also do dash V2. The characters cost almost nothing in the big scheme of things, right? And then we're going to escape :WQ. And now if we did a kubectl create dash F on the ProLUG website dot V2, we would create a new deployment. I'm going to go grab this and put it over, where were we at here? So, deploy new deployment, right? Something like that. And then this would probably be like a update deployment file, whatever. ProLUG website dot v2 YAML, whatever. And you can use YML or YML, it doesn't matter. And then now this last one is going to be, how do we flip over the service? So now watch, we say kubectl get deployments. We see ProLUG website, and now this brand new one that's stood up next to it. Just for fun, we could say get pods, just to make sure that those two brand new pods are nice and clean, right? They were just built. We just put them together from Trevor's code, and then pulled it down off the repo. And we pulled them down off the repo, rebuilt them, and then now, so that's good, right? I can go and check them statically right now and see if they're up. But I'm gonna be like, well, we just kind of trust this. So we're gonna say kubectl. Let's get pods -o wide, and then show labels real quick, just so you guys can see this is a show thing. I'm also going to grep-I for ProLUG. I only want the ProLUG ones. And you'll see that here's the ProLUG website ones. These are the old ones. And now here's the two V2 ones, right? They're the version 2 ones. But watch this real quick. We're going to kubectl describe service. We only have one service running. Let's get services real quick. And then, yeah, I thought it was ProLUG website, but let's describe service. Oops, website, right there. All right, now, the endpoints currently are going to be 240 and 95. .240 and .95. Do you guys see that right there? Well, how do I know that before I go there? Well, because those are the current ones, right? So 240 and 95. But the place it's looking for, the selector, is app equals ProLUG dash website. So we're going to edit that to be this other one here, which is app equals ProLUG website v2. Do you guys see that right there? That's how we're going to get this to flip. So watch this. So kubectl. This is all described in that lab. If you do the lab, kubectl edit service ProLUG dash website. We're doing a blue-green deployment right now, technically, and we're going to go right here, and the selector is no longer going to be that. It's going to be dash v2. As soon as we do that, and we go and we look real quick again here, and then we describe that service, now it's pointing to the 133 and the 227, which are these other two pods. As fast as we could do that, guys, I should be able to come here to my home one and run this, and it should be the new one. That's the new one that Trevor just built. If this broke and I was like, oh, shit, he took our web page down, all I would do is go here and point this back to those two. I would point it back to blue. Does that kind of make sense? Blue and green, right? We were on blue. We flipped to green. Guys, we should have done some testing before that in the real world, right? You would have done some testing. Plus, you normally only do blue-greens like this in a like a dev or QA environment. You don't do this in prod. Prod, we do a different type of deploy called a one-box or a canary deploy, or like a 90-10 deploy, whatever you want to call them, right? There's a whole bunch of names for them. But anyway, so we did that. We flipped it over. It looks good here, but it might take a little while to cache and come up here. Nope, it's there immediately. All right, so we did it. Oh, what is that? Truesdale with the gifted sub. Thank you for that. Man, that's a whole bunch of gifted subs. You guys are always welcome to hang out. You guys never have to do that kind of stuff, but I do appreciate when you do. Also, if you get a gifted sub, make sure you thank Truesdale for that, because here's the nice thing about it. You don't have to watch ads for the next month, so that's kind of a cool little thing. That's maybe the best thing about Twitch subs, is you don't have to watch ads. Although I don't like watching ads at all, so I just have Turbo. You know, I just basically pay for like 2.5 subs, and then I'm subbed to everybody as far as that goes. But yeah, look at that. We got the page updated pretty quickly, and these were kind of our notes. Flipping over the service was simply going to the new version, right? And that was kubectl edit, right? And then pointing that file to the new one. So we truly did here full deploy, and this was blue green methodology. So for people that are like, hey, how might you in your home lab do this thing that isn't quite, guys, this isn't quite as we would call this, like what I just did there, we would call this like a quick and dirty. This was not quite the level, guys, that we would do if we were like in an industry or something like that. This would work in a pinch, though. Like if something was already down and we needed to flip over, I could do this pretty quick if we needed to, right? But this is a blue-green deploy of a Alpine Go container into a highly available, it's going to two different pods. We only chose two. We don't need that many. It's a static page mostly. But it does do some other cool stuff in the back end with his Go. So, yeah, that's all there. So is that good, Trevor? Does that look good? Launch a version 3 manifest and so forth, it would always be one. Oh, yeah, Trevor, it would have kept going forward to like version 3 and version 4. And yeah, we could keep moving the versions forward. I just hadn't done one yet, so I hadn't versioned it yet, so I just called this one 2. So it would be interesting to run HP benchmark during the switch to see how many HP failed requests. Neuron Collider, we do that on the other lab. I don't make you guys do it, but I've shown it before. Typically, when that thing flips, if you're waiting in like a 1-second loop, you won't even see a miss. Yeah. Because here's the thing: the pod was already up. If we made sure the pod was up and healthy according to Kubernetes. When you go to kick the service over, the service wouldn't. Well, so we've got a thing that I'm not showing here as well. In my drawing, there's actually another thing above this external facing called CloudFront by AWS, and that's how I can allow this to be port 80 for people, because my Cox internet doesn't allow. So there's actually some weird stuff we're doing here. The pods are port 9090 here. The service is port 30,000, so 30001. That goes to my home router, which allows it externally on port 8080, and then CloudFront grabs it on port 8080 and shares it out on port 80. I know, it's fucking elephant on roller skates. But that's how we did it, because, well, I could have paid for a business line to the house, or which would give me port 80, or Cox will block port 80, because Cox are a bunch of assholes. My internet provider, they block port 80. They're like, it's unsecure. And I'm like, just let me open whatever I want to my house. And they're like, no, sir, you can't be trusted to put it like that. Yeah. So Trevor, you had already run it, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, look, I think the page it's there. We could go and we could do all of our general checks that we do, where we go and we look. Here's our certify, right? The security engineer's coming up, and then one of the things that he's been keeping here for you guys is, if you have a certificate and you were to take that certificate and show to somebody, hey, for me, you could verify that Scott was a person. Oh, yeah, that's Cloudflare. Or CloudFront, which is that's an AWS message. Jerks. It'll take a little bit to cache everything, but you can then go and check and make sure. And if you were to give your certificate to a company, they can use the QR code, and then it'll take them back to your page. Yeah, there we go. So I was the ProLUG admin instructor on whatever date, and then we'll keep generating those as we go or whatever. Could you use a Cloudflare tunnel to get around the Cox? I don't know. So the thing about it is, if it were leaving my house, if it were leaving my demarcation point on, it can leave on basically any other port. There's a few other ports they block. They don't want you using 25 either. They don't want you having a mail relay, which is they can say whatever they want. It's for your protection, but it's really, they don't want people doing commerce from a local home line. That's what it is. That's what it's been since the 90s, in case you're wondering, for anybody that runs internet and then they're like, why can't I do this? They've been blocking that forever, and I don't think anybody's ever challenged them in court, because I think you would win that in court pretty easily. Like, you don't have it posted anywhere that I'm, unless I go down and look under these security things, I don't even see it. It's kind of an annoyance, but anyways, yeah, page looks good. And there's your info for when we're starting 16 weeks and 10 weeks, and they're starting both together on March 22nd. They are different courses, and they do different things, but for people that want them, you can come into the Discord here, right? Boom, Discord. And you just go up here to the top, and you can go and just say, hey, I'm coming. We got 66 people saying they're coming. We'll lose people. We always lose people, especially when people see how much work this is. Everybody wants to do things, but not everybody wants to, when they see how much work is involved with it, to stick with it. Trevor, you said, I suppose you would need a Jinja 2 template in order to iterate the deployment map. Yeah, we could do it that way. It wouldn't be hard. Take that template and just take the V2 and turn it to like a 3 or something. And then you could actually give that value. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so, whoops. Yeah, I didn't even think about this, but if we were doing, but I mean, technically they could be just the same name each time if we wanted, and then the changes could just happen inside. But let's just VI this real quick. I'll show you. Actually, I'm going to take this, copy that to, maybe we would give it a name, but let's just say v2.j2 for now, right? Because that's a Jinja template. And then in a deployment, you could be like, I don't know, if you had just deployment or whatever. And then that would put in the variable right there. This internal one, this really doesn't need to be there. But because this is a container is just inside the pod, inside of the deployment. So this never gets seen. This name never gets seen by anybody outside of it anyways. So, I mean, but that could help for troubleshooting later. So we'll just throw that on there. And then that's what that might look like. If you were going to do that as a Jinja template, that's the only components I had to change for that. Oh, also, technically, I could have destroyed and recreated or done a kubectl apply -f against the service. So the service file would be, let's do kubectl describe. Let me think of how to do this real quick. Oh, we have a service file, don't we? Hold on. Because I think I did it as a service, so we had it. Yeah. So the service here would be the same way. So this would be the same idea. We would come in here, and it would be the selector would be updated to go to deployment each time, if that makes sense. Can the service direct traffic to both deployment during? Yeah. Neuron, that is 100% possible. Yeah. So when I was saying earlier, how about this is the way that we only do it in like lower environments. We don't do this in prod. I actually have a lab that shows that where we could have it more than one selector. Yeah. So where do I have that? Hold on. In my killer code. Hold on. I do have a Canary deployment like that. Yes, absolutely. So Canary deployments look like this. And you guys can do these labs if you want. They're free and online. I think Killer Coda is just such a good site for getting people into this stuff because, like, you can go and you can run this and you can grok and understand it without. But yeah, so in this case, we're using the label App Canary in version 1 to start. App Canary version 1, App Canary version 1. And then here we go to both and we say App Canary version 1 with like 8 replicas and then App Canary version 2. So we're going to, this is an 80-20 split. There's 8 of these for every one of these. And then we can watch that traffic go to both. And then when we're ready, we could cut it over the rest of the way. 100%. Yeah, you can have multiple selectors. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, technically we could update we could just have one that updates on a version selector too if we wanted. Yeah. So I show how to do this in this other lab. And that's actually how we do that in this other deployments lab that I have. So I mean, like this one's fast, just cuts over, but this one needs to be like, this is not one here that we normally do with customer facing stuff. Like the way that I just flipped that over, we would normally do something like this, especially if we had like a certain number of customers that we were going to feed in through an app or something. This is an acceptable way to do it, and then you just keep cutting more and more traffic over at your pace as your company has tested and done everything. Hey Suresh, over on the YouTube side, we're just kind of working through stuff here. Yeah, but this is how, like, what are the different ways you want to do it? So if we were to do that, it would look like this. This would never change, and this would be version. But it's one of those, again, this is one of those things like how, I'm not going to change that, but how do you want it to, I don't know. It's one of these things. It's like, I'm not going to tell you guys which way is the best. I'm just going to tell you normally this is the way you would do things in a production deployment, something like this, because then only a certain number of people see if there's a problem. You've already tested. Like, we didn't do any testing for this. We just, as they say, yeeted it over. We just launched it. But this way is that you just cut over. Here, you can allow certain people to see it. Yeah, it's a different way that you want to deploy in your cadences and stuff like that. In the home lab here and for the professional Linux users group, I would just tell people we're not a website group, we're a Linux group. But hey, it's still a working website, so mostly because Treasure helps out with it. So, all right, so there's all that. Let's get that out of the way. Get that thing running over there. What else were we doing today? So we got that done. Oh, do you need that, Treasure? Do you want a link to that Excalidraw? So I can actually make this a shareable link, and I can just drop this right in on a discussion with him, and then he will have all of that as well as his notes on it. So. Then what else do we got going on here? More people hopping in. Yeah, we're almost to like 3,700 people, so we're almost official, guys. Get rid of that because that's kind of bright. All right, there we go. We'll leave that up and spinning on there, so if anybody wants to ask about it later, you guys can talk them through it or whatever. All right. This week, I heavily focused on, at work, stigging computers like I normally do, stigging Linux boxes, and applying different types of what we call like system controls. There's technical controls, there's administrative or managerial, or they call them operational controls, and then there's physical controls, right? And they all have a different place. I mostly focus on actually putting in technical controls that stop things from happening. I am not super concerned with like a message popping up and telling you, make sure you don't do anything bad here, because the people that are reading it don't give a shit, right? Like nobody's ever looked at an administrative control that said, hey, this is a DoD website, and been like, oh, I better turn back. I doubt that's ever happened in all the world. People that are already doing that kind of stuff are just going to do it. So I'm much more focused on the technical controls that actually stop the things. Physical controls too, although I don't work in a lot of physical data centers anymore. No time in the day for that stuff. But all right, we can check the home lab. We can make sure that the lab's looking good. We do need to build monitoring out for the courses that are coming up, because we have 19 Rocky boxes for people to use. And then we have 25 Rocky? How many do we have? We got 25 Hammer boxes, so those are going to be the security ones. And then we've got 19 Rocky boxes, so people can do Rocky Linux type things in there. That'll just be generic Rocky Linux, obviously. And then, so we got 44 total boxes, and we just want to keep track of how much people are using them and that kind of stuff. So we're going to be I've got some monitors that are built that will they'll go into the Discord. Some of you guys were on stream the other day, or I don't even remember if I was doing this on stream or just with you guys. In our sandbox, it just shows basically who's logged into the servers in the last, X amount of days or whatever. Ops to Dev Hammer is going to be for security engineering. So it'll be we're not doing the red team one. I was going to run over the 10 weeks. I was going to run blue and red teams side by side, but I don't have time. Like, I don't have time to put it all together, and I feel like best I can do is blue. So we'll do blue stuff, which is just all the security stuff that I do most of the time anyways. And then, let me think. So think of it like security engineering. You're going to be locking boxes down. You're going to be doing a lot of this stuff. Going in, you're going to be doing stuff like getting a DISA STIG viewer and actually hardening a box. I'm going to have you actually going in and I have a thing. If I pull it up real quick, hold on. I know that's bright, but we got to do it. I'm going to save this. I'll just save this as save to a file on the disk, and we're going to call this ProLUG. Right, ProLUG website deploy. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open a different file, which was our Linux security course. And so I'll show you a little bit of what that's going to look like. So as we get in here and as we review some of the common compliance standards, oh God, I hate that. We are going to do HIPAA just because I'm doing HIPAA right now for a project. And so let's go over here. Let's look at, we'll get rid of this checklist. Close without saving. And we're going to come over here and we're going to go to MariaDB. We're going to generate a checklist from the STIGs. And then we would start to harden a server, right? Harden an instance of MariaDB if we had it. And what I do then is we're going to talk about types of controls that first week. Like what are the types of controls that we look at in the security sense, and what are they actually doing, right? If you say, well, Scott, could you give us some examples of that? Yeah, so hold on. So here's the categories of controls: technical, managerial, operation, and physical. And I just want you to think about something for a second. If you build a bunch of like managerial controls around a system, and the managerial controls are like your acceptable use policies and your, you know, hey, if you violate this and if you do this, you can be punished. You know, if you're doing some kind of bypass so you can get to your Gmail when you're not supposed to do that, you can be punished, this and this and this. And you're just like, okay, and you do all that. You got to understand, people that are going to break the rules are going to break the rules anyways. So what a lot of people would do is put in a technical control where now you're going out through like all of your system is maybe going out through a proxy, and all of your traffic is now being filtered where they can't go to Google or Gmail or Facebook or whatever. And you might say, you know, I always hated that when a company did that to me. I hate when they, you know, they lock me down. What a bunch of jerks or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but some companies know that like 90% of breaches happen in exfiltration through social media sites. There's some huge number. I don't know. I've made up 90%. It's a huge number of where the data exfiltration that's actually happening is happening out through those channels. So if they just block those, it stops a lot of data exfiltration. Plus, they can monitor that and see that your user account or your system is sending a lot, and they can start looking for compromise, right? Anyways, then there's the types of controls. So preventative, is it actually stopping something? Is it stopping you technically from doing something, right? If my system does not allow port 80 to connect, but it allows 443, that is preventative of port 80, right? That's a preventative control. Yeah, the chain's only, yeah. If something breaks along the chain, absolutely. Is it a deterrent? Does it try to deter somebody like a DoD banner might or something like that? Again, that's not a technical control. It's not actually stopping them. It's a managerial control that's a deterrent type. A detective control helps you to find things later. So detective controls are your logs. Logging happening is a technical control. It has to, the system has to do it, right? You've implemented it, so technically it has to do a thing. But it's a detective control in that it doesn't stop anybody from doing anything. This is actually a test question they like to ask. This is a generic version of a test question they like to ask. But they like to ask, are security cameras, what type of controls are they? Security cameras are physical controls, right? Because they're watching an area, right? They're physically doing something. So they're a physical control. They're not technical control, not something in ones and zeros. They're physical control. But are they actually can if somebody goes to like push a door open and they find that it's unlocked and they look around and they smile, does the camera prevent them from going in there? No. A lock on that door would prevent it, yes. But they are not even unless somebody notices them, they're not a deterrent. They are a detective control. They don't seek to correct anything either. They're just and they're not a compensating control because they're not compensating for some other thing. Like a compensating control might be if you did, let's say you did manage to open that door because it was unlocked, but then there was a chain on the inside, like one of those chains that people have on the, the secondary lock internal on like a hotel room door or something. That's a compensating control. That control should never, ever, ever in a million years be reached unless the first control fails. That's right. So, anyways, there's all the and directive. Again, directive comes from like managerial. And if somebody's not going to listen to you anyways because they're there for nefarious reasons, then why would they listen? Or they're not even nefarious; they're just doing stuff and not paying attention. That would be the same output, right? Anyway, so these are the types of controls we're going to look at. And then over here, like on the MariaDB, I picked some out the other day. What was this one? 253.666. So you come in here and you go 253.666. It's this first one. And I say, what is the problem? What is it trying to fix? What is the type of control, right, that's implemented? And so you come and you look at this and you go, okay, it's doing something and it's limiting the number of connections from a specific user. Well, if it's actually limiting the user to like one connection, it is now a technical control because it's doing something. And if we go back and look at our types of controls, it is in that case it's preventative. It can also be a deterrent. It's not a detective because it's not logging anywhere. We can't come along later and look at it. It's not necessarily corrective. It's not compensating for sure. It's not directive. So it's a preventative and a deterrent technical control. That would be my answer if you were like hard pressing me to figure that out. This is not like the purpose of this course is not going to be to like get a grade from Scott. Like I'm not, a college professor in this context. The purpose of this is for you guys to understand if I have to say no to this control, if I have to say we're not going to fix this in a system, then I need to understand what the implications are of what I'm doing. Does that kind of make sense? There's a whole bunch of these that are about logging. And if I turn off if I say, nope, I don't care about any of that logging stuff, I have hamstrung myself. I have stopped myself from being able to be detective about problems. And almost all compliance standards, you need to be able to audit things. I mean, I hope that makes sense to everybody. Like, shit, I need to be able to audit things anyways, right? Also, hold on, wait, is that working? No, that's not working right now. Shoot. My little thing's not working. Where he pops up and says I can answer that for money. All right, anyways. So that's what we're going to be. So I think the question was around the security stuff. And oh yeah, look, writer's room's getting big too. You guys should do writer's room too if this stuff's interesting to you. Let me get rid of that for money thing. You guys should do the writer's room if that stuff's interesting to you because there's a lot of good. You get to be on the kind of back end of building out the course. The course is already built, but you're just organizing it and kind of putting it into nice piles and stuff like that. So, yeah. Hopefully that stuff works for you guys. Yeah, and there's a lot of workflow stuff you guys will learn in there. If you haven't done, what's that called? If you haven't worked in if you've never done any type of operations or maybe you use Git for yourself just to save stuff, but you've never worked in Git on a team. That's a shock the first time you start working on Git with pull requests and stuff. It's weird. Like now, oh shit. Well, for me, it's another meeting I got to go to, right? But it's like, oh, now I got to review code and I do all that stuff. And if you've never done that before, that's and merge branches and stuff. That's a thing to start learning how to do here, so that you can put it on a resume and say, hey, I know how to use Git on a team. There's some value to that, right? So, anyways. Yeah, Linux sysadmin, we're just going to be focusing on Linux and how we operate in the company. And then security is going to be focused on security engineering. So it will not be easy. It is not designed to be easy, and I wouldn't want it to be easy. There's actually a site out there called ratemyprofessor.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. But ratemyprofessor.com has two things about me ever in my 16 years of teaching. And one of them is like a really good review or something. Somebody liked me, and the other one, the person really hated me, and his thing was I was too hard of a professor, and I was like, I'll take that every fucking time. You can call me. You can say that you didn't like me. You can say that I didn't comb my hair the way that you liked. You could say whatever you want about me in class, but Probably the only thing that would get me in a fist fight with you is if you said that I went too easy on you. I don't think anybody will ever accuse me of that in the college space or here. Some of you guys that did this course, like, there were only like 8 or 9 people that got their little certs at the end, because that's just the way it works, man. Like, you didn't do all the work. I can't, we couldn't just rubber stamp it, right? We couldn't just give everybody 100%. That wasn't going to be the way we were going to do this. So, and you say, well, you could, and I can say, yeah, you can cheapen your name however you want, but we weren't going to do that in our group. We were going to hold the people that wanted to get this to a higher standard, right? So the people that wanted to learn this stuff. It's going to be completely free. You're just going to have to spend your time, right? Hey, Colcus, how's it going? Yeah, and this is the book that they're preparing. So, some of you guys that are looking for something to put on the resume, you go work with the writers group, and, you start to, hey, I helped edit this book. I'm in the contributors page, because they're going to have a contributors page up here. I don't know how they're going to format it. I don't know what the order is going to look like. I don't know any of that stuff. But also, you got different colors you can pick for all this. I think it's still just the first 3, but they're doing every week. They're doing more and more of the stuff and pulling more and more of the stuff out. So, all right. All right. And by the way, that book's free. It's just on this link right here. And more of it's getting published all the time. So you guys can keep an eye on it. Oh, OpsDev. I know it wasn't free for me. I spent a lot of time on it. But for me, there was some value, right? We have a lot of people that are, I feel like if people are coming into our group and our community of our Discord, they probably do want to get into this space. And, we got a fair amount of people that are already doing systems and engineering, but some people are not in there yet. So our goal is to, help those people get into that space. Let me move this up, because I swear that thing right over my head was looking weird. Hold on. I'll move that up. It was like that bar across my head was looking weird. So, all right. We've also been going for almost 2 hours. So I'm going to take a quick little break. We'll check all our nodes when we get back. And then I'm just going to put this on for right now. I can answer that for money. Yeah, let me know. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to take a break real quick. I'll be back. I'll leave it on the little, I can answer that for money. Also, I got to check all these damn phone messages. As soon as I start streaming, people start messaging me on my phone. So, all right, I'll be back. Also, that looks like a follow. Thanks for the follow. Okay, I'm back. Back. Went and got me some more water. Let's turn off our little for money thing. All right, back. So, what else do we have? Normally, when I come on, I have like some kind of plan of something that I want to do, but I didn't really have much that I wanted to do today. I did want to deploy a new version of our page, which we got some, I think we got that all captured with me and Trevor. And then I did want to tell you guys, as always, I want to tell you guys that we've got Discord. It's free, not going to charge you for anything down there. And you can hang out. You don't have to, buy anything. The only person that'll charge anything is if you catch fishermen and you ask him, he's our he's our unofficial treasurer, and he charges people for stuff. But I'm just kidding. But Fisherman's down there. He actually streams. We try to get him to stream more. And Salty is down there. He's running. Actually, I need to mention that project. He's running a project which is down here. So he was originally running this little Blitzcrank bot, but now he's doing Slingshot. So if any of you guys want to get involved in that project, he just started it the other day, and it's got a GitHub. He's running it like he would a professional team, and he's got a very specific MVP, minimum viable product, that they're trying to get to, and they're going through it. And it's not too late to sign on either. So when did he last put? I think he's got, he kind of puts them like right before, but you should get the opportunity to go join that. You just got to keep an eye on the events. Like if you guys don't use Discord, when a new event pops up, it'll have like it'll be kind of like this, where it'll show that there's something new. See how I have these new things? I haven't reviewed any of these yet. So then they'll be there, or like a talk, like if I was going to go read what somebody was messaging me, that kind of stuff. So I want you guys to see that there's just a lot going on, right? Like a lot of things you won't have time to do it all. So you got to focus on what's interesting to you. For me, I'm trying to get most of you guys to do the basic, Linux system stuff, because then from there we can spin off and do the more advanced stuff. We just have to get up there. We have to, as it were, we have to start the hike before we can finish the hike, right? So that kind of analogy, I guess. What else? What else do we want to do? I guess I have some deliverables. I have to write some stuff up for the course here. So I guess I could do that a little bit. We could keep working on building. So I have more of these things to build out. So these were just my original notes, but I also have some stuff that I kind of want to draw up. That's why I was using Excalidraw. And then I also have like my questions for myself, like, what kind of logs are we going to do? How does securing the network connection tie in with STIGs? And also, how does that tie in with, host-based firewalls versus like network-based firewalls? So some of this stuff is going to be, we're heavily focusing on the Linux side of things. So it'll be Linux-based. Hold on, let me turn my phone. When my phone's on message. All right. All right. And then user access and system integration. So I probably have to build. Let me put this up here. You might have to build an identity and access management solution for that, so that you guys can connect to it. Bastion host. I already know what I want to do for Bastion host. I just need to draw that out. But yeah, this is a course. Also, I probably should be doing this. I've been doing this kind of in here, but this is also going to kind of become the syllabus and kind of like worksheets, and then I'll build them into labs for each week as well. So we'll have lab stuff. Like this is all lab stuff here. That I'm gonna make you guys do. All right, let me change this music. Next track. This is called Jazz Do It by Low Vibes. All right, fair enough. And then, what else? Ah, check on Ranger. How's Ranger doing? Oh, Ranger's camera has been turned because the family's in town. So somebody must have bumped it or turned it. And then you say, why do you got so many boxes? So my wife has spring break next week from the high school, or well, the school that she is a help desk for. They're all off next week, so she's off. But they're doing the carpet in her office, so she's got a little office there with other help desk people, and they're tearing all the carpet out. So she brought a bunch of boxes home. They asked them to take all their stuff because they're going to take apart their desks and stuff. There's Ranger. There's Ranger. So you say, why do you got a bunch of boxes at your house? Because the wife brought a bunch of stuff home. And then right after spring break, she'll start moving it back in and clean her stuff up. Canby, you're not that late. You didn't really miss too much. We were just kind of working through some stuff. Like guys, you don't have to feel bad on Fridays. Like, we don't work too hard on Fridays. It's not like I'm going to sit here and do all labs or anything. We might build labs on Fridays some days, but I actually thought about going back and wrestling again. We did morning wrestling, but then I've got a 6 o'clock, just an open mat that I can go and wrestle at if I wanted to. I thought about doing that because the wife, you say, well, where's the wife at? She gets off at 4, and then we normally do our date nights on Fridays, right? Cut off with you guys, and I go do date night. But the grandbaby's in town, and she's going to nieces and nephews are running everywhere. We got all kinds of different family running around. So she's going to a game, and I'm not going to see her till about 7, so I could go wrestle again tonight if I wanted to. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, I know you can't see Ranger very well right there, but he, man, he's getting so freaking old. I took him yesterday to go get the mail. That was like the worst decision I've made in a long time because a couple reasons. He hasn't had a leash on him in probably like 3 months because he's kind of getting old, right? And and he goes out in the back. He plays and walks around the back. He doesn't really need to go on walks. But I took him out, and I'm like, all right, we're only going like half a block to the mailbox. It's like right there. And we went out at 3:20. They say, Scott, how do you know you went out at 3:20? Well, because at 3:30 there's a school, a grade school that gets out right behind my house, and everybody parks in my neighborhood. So first off, when we go outside, I've got the grandbaby holding this finger, and I've got Ranger on the other hand. And we got 1,000 cars out in our neighborhood, and I'm like, so we've got an audience. Ranger like fell once on the walk over there, and I'm like, and then he peed on a bush, but he did it really weird because I guess his legs are weak or something. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. I felt really bad for Ranger in general. But then we walk over and we get the mail. We come back, and he can't even go up the curb, like, you know, just a little curb to. Anyway, so Ranger's, he's not long for this world, but we still love him. He's a good dog. He has served his guard dog purpose for 13 and a half years, pretty good. But he's as best I can tell, he's not in any pain. He's just his back legs are so freaking weak now. I'll get the thing fixed, and over the weekend you guys will be able to see Ranger again. But yeah, he's a really good dog. He's always like everybody. He's friendly with everybody. Most everybody just goes and sits by him and pets him. You know, that's what the. But all the grandkids, well, our one grandkid, and then all the nieces and nephews all love him. So, yeah, Ranger's a big hit. All right, so what else are we doing around here? Checked Ranger, did that. We could build. Could keep working on that Kafka stuff, but I've been thinking about just running the Kafka inside of. So I have a lab that shows you how to build it inside of Kubernetes. We could just run Kafka inside of Kubernetes. It doesn't need to be its own box. So I might stay off of that. Oh, I do have a project though. I need to actually get some of the people in our Discord involved with this one. I got asked I work with a thing out here in Phoenix called Career and Technical Education, and then there's a program called WESTMEC, WEST-MEC. This could look good on somebody's resume too, if you guys are looking for things to kind of put up on your resume. And I got asked the other day, they have these like they go into like these little cyber warfare ranges for this group, and then they go and they do it's kind of like capture the flag light, but it's like little scenarios, And the problem, here's the problem that the professor or the teacher for that class has. He said, my problem is, Scott, every single one of them is known out there. Every single one of these labs that I want these students to practice for is known. And you say, well, what do you mean? You could put the name of the lab in Google and it'll tell you all the answers. Like all these little cyber warfare labs for these kids. I think it's called Patriot something. I don't know, Cyber Patriot or something. You guys might know what I'm talking about, but it's one of these programs. Anyways, he said, "Hey Scott, will you build me like something where I can just deploy labs quickly?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we could do that with Ansible." And basically just have like a set of systems, or we could even just have a bash script in front of it where you just run it and then you just pick what you want to set that machine as, and it'll just set the machine up for whatever little environment they want. So we might start one of those up on GitHub. And then, well, I take that back. We've got to be a little more, not secretive about it, but we need to basically do this ourselves. Because when I give it to him, he doesn't want anybody to be able to Google the answers. He doesn't want anybody to be able to do like lab 1 of, let's call it Cyber Patriot, something like that. Lab 1, West Mech, Cyber Patriot 1, and then go find it on Google or find it in our GitHub. He doesn't want any of that. He wants these to be like real challenges for the students. And I'm like, all right, well, we can do all that. Plus, like I said, all the labs that are there are well known. So we could go look at what the real labs look like. So I'll send him a message. I don't even have my notebooks. I was with a customer yesterday. My notebook's in my backpack still. So I'll write it in my notebook to remind myself. Because I use a physical notebook. Some of you guys know that. And by the way, you say, well, Scott, couldn't you just keep it on your computer? Yes, but sometimes I'm really mobile. And then you say, well, but can't you still just have like a tablet or something? Because I actually have some of my colleagues, they write on tablets. And I'm like, yes, but I can't bring a tablet in a SCIF. So what can you bring in a SCIF? SCIF, that's a secure compartmentalized information facility, like a government. You can't bring a cell phone in, can't bring a tablet. You can always bring a notebook in though. So I'll walk in and do that. So yeah, I use physical notes as an engineer. I've done it for a long time. So yeah, because you don't always have recording devices. You're not always allowed recording devices. That's for sure. So yeah. And Kolkas, I'll set something up. I'll email that professor or that he's a high school teacher actually, but it's him and one of my buddies run the 2 programs out here in Phoenix for that. And WestMech's a really good program for kids. They got a cybersecurity. By the way, they pay for all the kids to get all the certs they want. And one of my buddy Paul gets one of his students one time. That kid got 17 certs. And you might say, "Oh, certs aren't that big a deal." Okay, yeah, sure. Certs don't cover like being in the industry and that kind of stuff, but it showed that he was driven, and it showed that he has a good understanding of the body of knowledge. And I'm pretty sure after a few years in the industry, he's going to be pretty damn good, right? Because he went and spent a lot of time getting his certs. I tell you guys, with all this stuff, anything is just a positive differentiator. You could have a college degree and be an idiot. You could have a bunch of college degrees and be an idiot, right? I mean, I think I probably have more college degrees than most people I know, but it doesn't make me any smarter than them. It just means I sat through a class a whole bunch, right? So, but I do think the process of getting a college degree is valuable, just like the process of going through a cert is valuable. But some people that values more than others. By the way, is my color all jacked? Hold on. I feel like hold on. I can turn on this. Hold on real quick. I need that? No, that killed me. All right, that's fine, I guess. I thought my color was kind of, can't really see that very well. Screw it. I don't care. Something is jacked. Yeah, I can turn. Hold on. I can fix on the camera. I've got these filters. Yeah, that does kind of look a little. Let me turn it off, and it'll go to green screen, and I'll turn it back on. Yeah, it looks okay. Also, next week when my wife's on vacation, we're going to move my office around. So my office, this room that I use, I have my own office. I'm going to move to a different room in my house, which is cooler. And I'm going to keep my green screen behind me all the time then. So I'll actually be able to roll it up or put it down. And then also, this room is going to become one of our gyms. So we have our gym space in a different room of the house, and we're going to move it over here. Because me and my wife are pretty much empty nesters now, so that's kind of If you guys know what that term is, yeah, we just basically have a way more house than we need, I guess. All right, where are we at? Security looks fine. Oh, sometimes I have to, guys, hold on. Sometimes I got to go, whoops. We do that. Come back here, go here. Sometimes I got to edit this because for dramatic effect, I leave it, like I hard code it. Yeah, I had hard coded this, so we're actually over the top of that. So we had hit the top of that, but now we're gonna do that. And this is one of those things that if you guys have ever heard the expression, if you show me a statistician, I'll show you a liar. Like this is one of these things where we can go in here and we can go, wait a minute, I want this graph to look different. This actually, like when you get into data analytics, there's some ethics here. What if I change this to like 49 and then I change this one back to like 51, right? And then I did that. Oh, wait, hold on. Right, Y, left, Y, no. Yeah, here we go. And I do that, and I go, oh, look at this dramatic jump we've had. Look at this dramatic jump we've had just now. And you're like, Scott, isn't that the same data? And I'm like, yeah, but I changed the, upper and lower limit, right? So like, I'm just saying, you can really affect things inside of data, and you'd be like, oh, look at that tremendous growth over the last 90 days from nearly 47,000, right? No, it's like, so the scale of graphs is, I don't know if any of you guys work in data, but there's some ethics around how you present things. I have been presenting this the entire time a certain way, so I'm going to leave it the way that I had been presenting it. I only changed the upper limit to show you guys, or to capture on the screen. But that's about where we get. We're not really growing that fast. There's no spikes. There's no outliers really. This is the 90 days. This is the average. We can see how many per any time that there was, and then this is total band. So, all right. Anyways, Dr. Blindfish. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Thanks for the follow. Yeah. But we're not working too hard. We need to get that data over. Oh, I do have stuff to do. I just don't want to do it. I've been working so much. So I worked a lot this week, and I stayed with that customer all yesterday. So it's a lot more like kind of attention and focus than I normally do. Yeah, Dr. Blindfish, you're welcome to hang out. We just that little student thing just lets me know that you're pulling up a chair. I always recommend people pull out a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, go download Notepad++. Is like one of the best things on the web. You just get a little Notepad++, put in dark mode, and then you can just have notes, right? And sometimes we'll be on here, you know, in some streams. You got all these things open up here across the top. Yeah, this was one we were doing this a while ago. I need to get back to this, but we were doing labs, right? And as we were doing the labs, we were saying, what does an administrator need to know? Like, what does a cherry tree? Is that a? Hold on. I never used cherry tree. Oh yeah, not bad. Doesn't look bad at all. Oh, it does latex. Yeah. If it'll do latex for you. So if you guys don't know, latex is I don't know if it's even considered a markup language. It just can do so much. And yeah, look at that. One that I use sometimes, and I don't open it up all the time, is logsec. So yeah, I like that. Looks like you got some extensions on here and stuff. Looks like that's, I don't know if that's based in Ubuntu, but that's part of the Ubuntu visual. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. The one that I use sometimes on stream, you guys will see, is logsec. This one's fun. And that's LOGSEQ. Hold on, I'm getting it to come up real quick here. Where is that? Normally it pops up right over here, but my system's been off since it's been last opened. Where did he go? Here he is. All right. Here's the problem. He always comes up in white mode or in light mode, so I always have to go change the settings. I think it's advanced. That might just be general. You can do custom themes. I want him in dark mode because I think that looks better. And then we just throw them over the top here. One of the nice things about this tool is it does have your hierarchy, but then it also has, I can do draw, and this will immediately open an Excalidraw right here. So some of you guys that like Excalidraw, I can say, right, I can draw something up. I can go, this is actually Excalidraw under the hood, which is that same free tool that we were just drawing in a little while ago. And then this will save locally on my machine, and then I can go open that up in like VS Code or whatever, right? Because you could use VS Code as well, and do stuff like this, right? Like you can use, there's an extension for Excalidraw out here, and then you can have, this is our lab monitoring architecture when I show you guys how like our monitoring works. It's right here. Yeah, I still feel like my filter's jacked, but that's fine. I don't care all that much. PLC and C# dev. Nice. Busy with CCNP and hobby game dev. C Grafana, which is now being standard in my company, and Scalar data. Yeah. I use a lot of Grafana. I introduced that with a lot of like high performance compute customers that I work with. Dr. Blindfish, yeah, if you haven't been around here, I do Linux, right? I'm a Linux engineer. I'm a high performance compute guy. I do networking. Like I got my CCNA back in 2002, which was a long time ago. I've been doing Linux since then, and I've been a college professor for about 16 years. So I try to get people. We run a professional Linux users group, and the goal is to get people into doing this stuff professionally. We're all hobbyists, right? Like everybody hanging out is hobbyist here. You're doing at least some Linux, but I want to get people into doing it professionally if that's what their goals are. Camby said, can we do some stuff with latex? I don't, you know what? I don't do as much latex as I should. Like I don't really know it well, but there's a really good tool called Overleaf that some of my friends so I'm in the academic space as well. I'm actually doubly in the academic space because I teach at DeVry, and then I also am going to school for my PhD in systems engineering. So I have about 6 classes left on that. Sometime next year I should be done. But good friends of mine that do this stuff, they do it in Overleaf. Apparently I also have to log in. But anyways, there's some cool markdown stuff you can do in here. Most of the people I know that are working on their dissertation are using a tool like this for it because it just looks so clean when it's done. And then you can just update the tool. This integrates, I was actually looking at this the other day. Overleaf integrates with one of the best tools. Now, I'm going to go far afield here, so some of you I'm going to lose. But Zotero this is another note-taking app, but this is for you guys that are, like, if you're an engineer or you're working on research. And, like, with my doctorate work, here's a bunch of my doctorate stuff, right? And then, actually, this is a different one with dissertation stuff. And I can come in here, and it grabs the information for me, and it can make bibliographies. But also, when I grabbed this and when I referenced it, it looked exactly like this. So Zotero is this awesome tool for filtering and grabbing and doing all these different things, and it integrates with Overleaf as well. So Zotero, like if I was on Google Scholar, right, and I found some systems engineering, and let's say I was talking about, by year, I wanted it since we would probably do, if we were graduating in 2026, you would want most of your research in the last 5 years typically. So since then, and then I can go and I can change some stuff around. But let's say systems engineering, and they have the PDF here. Here's some information that's been cited by a fair number of articles. So you can see Google Scholar is really good for like how kind of used something is. So I can go look at this PDF here, right? And this is, okay, so this is some systems engineering. This is chapter 12 of some book, it looks like. It's the PDF on it. It's got some stuff around how systems are worked. This is maybe a 6-step framework for how you might life cycle and build things. Sure, that's all awesome. There's some really good books on that kind of stuff. They always give you other places to go, so references are good. But let's say I wanted to capture this. I could go to my little Zotero thing, and I can say, let's use Zotero. Let's throw this in as though it were on my just engineer training. Let's just call this engineer training. This will go over here because I don't think there's anything in here. And this will automatically build all of this stuff for me over here. And then if I wanted to, I could go and I build, this is the most important thing for some of us, create a bibliography from it. I use APA 7th edition, copy to clipboard, okay, boom. And then if I were writing a paper, I would come in here, and there is my APA 7 version for that person. And that passes first check. It's pretty good. Like, the formatting's correct for this. I might need to, well, so I dumped it into a thing that took off the, it took off italics, but, because you can't do italics in here. Yeah. But there's, this should have been in italics, I believe. Yeah. So anyways, but the point is, this is an awesome tool for that kind of stuff. So that's more for Sunday nights. I'm going to start spinning up again and doing this again. Sunday nights are going to be our academic nights. So when people want to come in and see like what we do in the academic world and how we have to reference things and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times when you find a good article, a lot of their references will be pretty recent as well. So this person's got a couple that would work for me. Wait, when that was accessed? No, that one worked for me. It's outside of my range. All of these are outside of my range, but I might find some seminal work here, some older things that are, like this is Systems Engineering Principles and Practices by Arnold Scarpod, and maybe this is like a seminal work. So I go read about it, and I find out that this is like some foundational piece of how we do systems engineering, and then I could use that, right? Mad Lad said, when are the hours of the course in Discord? The course is, if you come up here, if you're on a computer, it'll be the top left. If you're on a phone, if you use a phone Discord, it'll be on the top right. The course is, I'm on Pacific time right now because Arizona doesn't switch time with the rest of the world. So 3 p.m. Pacific and then 5 p.m. Pacific starting next Saturday. That's when the course will be. This course, the Linux Systems Admin course, we've already run it. This is round 2. We have everything up on YouTube. I am going to run this live, but then when we reference people, we're going to tell them, go use this link out of the book, and here's where the actual page is, and you guys will have access to go and watch this on the what's it called on the YouTube. So, by the way, we're going to do one other thing that if you weren't around, you wouldn't know. The Linux sysadmin course itself is not recorded. What I mean by that, so some of you say, why would you say that? Why would you point that out? I never recorded the live sessions. I always did the next day. I recorded it again. So one, I got to practice a little bit, so that was cool. Got to talk through my topics. And two, you guys could feel much more candid. You could ask questions. People will not ask questions on Twitch. Like, probably nobody's going to come on here and be like, hey, what's a system kernel? Because if they did that, they'd probably expect the chat to be like, get the fuck out of here, you're an idiot, this and this, which we try not to do. We try, people love to say, let me Google that for you and that kind of stuff. Okay, sure, that's a simpler answer, of course. But the point is, that's not what we do around here. But also, people will ask questions in here for clarity on things that they would not have asked if it was like on a live session like this. Trust me, I've been teaching people long enough to know that, like, if it's not or if they think they're being recorded, they'll just sit back and just watch, and that's fine, but it's just they're not going to get anything. Alex, this is the course is different than the ProLUG book, yeah. So if we were to differentiate the two, right? There are a bunch of labs that we have out on Killer Coda. They're free. You can go do whatever you want with them. But then there is a book from the Professional Linux Users Group, and that is a book on those labs that kind of gives you like more of like a deep dive into the topics and stuff, and that's what that book is about. This course has a 16-week book that comes with it. That book's free, by the way. It's right here. The guys are building it right here. Right, I'll link it to you guys. This book's free, and this book is more about. This is less about just doing everything in the Linux world, like getting hands-on. Yeah, this assumes you're going and doing that stuff yourself, right? This one is Linux topics as they relate to a business. So this is 16 weeks. This course right here of, yeah, there's you got to do Linux, right? I mean, obviously, like if we go look at the labs, you're doing Linux, right? Like here's the lab. You're making stuff. You're moving around. You're doing stuff. But the course itself, like what I'm talking about in the course, is how to use VI, how to assess your skills and get your skills better. How do you learn? What are you interested in? And going and finding a job. So it's and then it's there's some technical stuff, Vim tutor and stuff. But then we start to get into, I think in the second week even, it's like how do we triage things and using access control lists to manage file permissions. So yeah, there's all the technical stuff, but there's also the how do we interact with the business. So that's the differentiator if you wanted. The ProLUG book that's on LeanPub and also the labs. The labs are free. The ProLUG book is around very technical Linuxy things. This is around some technical Linux, but mostly how we interact with the business. Because we want to get a job. We either want to work for somebody or we want to be our own boss and do consulting. Both of those require us to have knowledge in the Linux space. So let's see if they have a third one up. What's the third one about? Third one is site reliability and high availability, right? So like it's all of these things, and then you can go and look about AI about high availability, and we talked about some of the definitions and terms you're going to hear, right? Interacting with other engineering teams. The course was not designed to make you an engineer. It was designed to help you be a systems administrator, and you're going to interact with engineers. You're going to have developers, software engineers that are using you and asking you questions and stuff. So yeah, it's all that stuff. And again, if I'm making it sound deep, it's not all that deep. It's just getting into systems world. This one's under construction, so some of these aren't ready yet. But like Unit 12, yeah, some of these are. I think they're only staying 2 weeks ahead. They said. Or 3 weeks ahead. So like Unit 1 through 3 are all ready to go, and then they're going to keep working on the next ones later. Unit 5 was networking. And again, networking you need to know, but what do you need to know about it in the like systems world? Also, we did some basic ideas of what's going to happen when your system gets scanned, how you can scan systems, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we did a lot of this. We touched on security all throughout and automation all throughout because it was important. So, yeah, security and systems administration, how those kind of interacted. So, there's a lot. It's a good book. The guys are building it. You're welcome to help them build it. That's what this group is here. Whoops, where they at? The writers' room. They meet earlier on Saturdays 12. So we basically use we use the Discord pretty much all Saturday. Just hang out and. I remember a couple weekends ago we hung out. We just had a meeting for actually what's in the background here. We did a meeting for this stuff. It was just and then we hung out for like I don't know. Some people probably hung out with me in there for another 8 hours. The wife was where did the wife go? Because normally me and the wife would hang out, but she was out of where was she at? I don't know. She was gone. Remember that? And then the guys made me eat this thing. Hold on. Well, they didn't make me do it, but we went to Jimmy John's, and we found out that there's a toasted sandwich, and then I said, "Well, chicken bacon ranch looks good," and then we found out that there's a big version of it that's 1900. I think it said 2100 the other day. I thought it said 2100, but yeah, I got one of these things, and then I had to eat it. I ate like a whole day's worth of calories in one. It's terrible. What day was that? I think it was Saturday, a couple weekends ago. Anyways, the course starts at 3. That was the question. I've been talking for like 25 minutes. The course starts at 3. What is this? Do I have 2 Discords open? All right, I don't know what I just closed down. All right, screw it. All right, what else are we doing, guys? Just thinking through all the things I don't want to start right now. I do have stuff to clean up in the home lab. Ah, well, that's fun. That's an easy one. Let's go check to make sure that all of our nodes are up and good. So we'll hit all of them. We'll check them for uptime. And we'll see if there's any nodes that don't come back clean. If they don't come back clean, we got to go fix them. We'll go fix them. And we'll get our system nice. And we rebooted them on stream 2 days ago. It looks like everything's up. So that's good. All right, that'll be good. And then yeah, nothing. By the way, you say, what were you looking for? I was looking for anything red. If any of our nodes were down, that would come back red. Like if I went to, just go to Hammer 22 and reboot them, right? And then now I rerun this, he won't come back. He won't come back right. So. Yeah, he's gonna hang, and then he'll be dead. But as a fun little thing, if you guys haven't seen this before, we can watch him boot. We got to reconnect all these because I was not on the network yesterday. I was hanging out with a customer all day yesterday, so my system's all busted. But let's go find, what was that, Hammer 22? Hammer 22. We rebooted him. So we can watch him boot at the console, and we'll go watch him. He's actually pulling from Werewolf. He is pulling his image down. See how he sees that he's Hammer 22 right here? He started with a process called iPix. Well, he started and he came up and he didn't know who he was. The system did DHCP, and it found the only person that responded was the Werewolf daemon. And the Werewolf daemon said, I'll give you an IP address. And it gives him a random IP. And then it reads his Mac and says, oh, I actually know who you are. And it feeds him over all the information about who he is. And then he starts his iPixie process and goes and pulls all of the initram FS and kernel that you just saw. And then that's going to boot. You can watch him boot right here. And then we'll go and we'll verify that 22 is back up. He'll be back up, and he'll only be up for like a couple minutes when we see him again. So, but we can watch him over here boot. He's going to boot up. He turns on his SE Linux. We run SE Linux in the lab. That's for you guys for some of the course stuff. Makes you I have you guys doing SE Linux just to see it. I don't make you go super deep into SE Linux, but I do make you touch it because you're going to run into that in the industry. So I think that's valuable. Yeah, hopefully that works for you, Mad Lad. Hopefully you can find all that. So, also, this is just my curiosity. Mad Lad, are you the same one that's in Running Man's chat? I think it's Running Man. I don't know. I don't look at names very often, but if you are, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome around here, anyways. But I'm saying if you're over in Running Man's chat often, I hang out over there pretty regularly. Normally, if Running Man's on. By the way, guys, I think some of you guys have been around and know I'm kind of crazy. I mean, I'm definitely crazy. That's from the war, but I like watching stuff on Twitch. Like I like watching games, even if I have no intention of playing the game. Like I prefer first-person shooters. I prefer things that I can just go and do, but I'm not nearly as good at them as when I was a kid. But when I like watching games, I've got this weird thing. I love Dead by Daylight. Never played a single second of that game. I don't even think I'd be very good. I'd probably be okay, but I love watching people just killing people on meat and throwing them up on meat hooks and stuff. I don't know what it is, but that's a fun game for me. I'm not even. It's like I'm watching a horror movie, but I'm doing other stuff. And yeah, so I hang out in like Running Man's chat and Ross Berger, who's often on. In fact, I think Ross Berger might still be on. But anyways, look, this system's up. We see him up here. We can ping him here. But let's just use our normal check here and just check all the boxes. This is just sweep. Oh, Mad Lad might already be gone. But anyways, I'm pretty sure he hangs out over in that other chat. Here's our system. We used, let me show you guys how that ad hoc command breaks down. Because if you guys don't use Ansible, man, there's a reason there's the cult of Ansible, guys. Like I joke around about like, oh, now you join the cult. because once you see it and like take it apart, you're like, that's it. That's how easy it is. It's this easy right here. So here's the command we did, right? We said Ansible hit all. Well, who the heck is all? Like what is all? What means all? Well, there's an inventory file that's default to Ansible in our environment. And in our environment, it's etc Ansible hosts, right? And all the way at the bottom of this file, we've got Rocky servers, and they're Rocky 1 through 19. We've got Hammer servers. These are what are called inventories or host inventories. He's Hammer 1 through 25. And then we have servers, and the servers inventory has children of Rocky and Hammer, which is Rocky and Hammer. Now, we also had this remediate when I was remediating 11 through 16 before, and I could modify. Look at all these other things I can do. There's also stuff online about what inventories are going on. Also, looks like my color's all jacked up again. But anyways, we will ignore that for a second. I said hit all, but I could have said Rocky, and I would have targeted Rocky 1 through 19. I could have targeted Hammer, and that would have hammered 1 through 25. And then I could have said servers, which would have been the same net effect as all, but it would have been a better control because all could have hit. Let's say somebody had undone this, and this was a real server in my environment. Now I'm accidentally hitting it because I'm an idiot and I hit all. You should very rarely use all, guys, unless you control the inventory. But I didn't check the inventory first, so now I just screwed up all my systems maybe. Anyways, that's easy. The -F says how many forks are we going to do? How many individual ones of these we going to do? Hold on, the wife texted me. Ooh. Yes, hold on. Hold on. All right. Wife messaged me and said that she would bring me food home, and I'm like, yes, you can bring me food home. All right, so check this out real quick, and then she's going to go to that basketball game actually for one of our nephews. All right, so F20 is going to be 20 at a time. Normally the forks, by the way, this is defined in a etc Ansible config file. Normally your forks are only 5. That's not going to cut it for bigger systems. You need to fork more than that. But the more you fork, the more memory and processing you use. So it's a balance there. There's a trade-off. We used the module shell, which just said go and execute some bash shell on the system. Well, actually, it's whatever the default shell is, which happens to be bash. And then -A uptime. We just said use the command uptime. We could also have used CMD here, but I don't use that one. I just use shell normally. So let's test real quick to make sure I'm not lying to you. Let's say Rocky here. And if I do Rocky, does it only say Rocky 1 through 19 on the screen here? Rocky 1 through 19. If we do Hammer, does it only do the 25 Hammer servers? Yep, there's all the Hammer servers, right? 1 through 25. And you might say, but Scott, they're coming back in out of order. That's weird. Because Ansible is asynchronous. Ansible will kick things off and go on about its day as much as it can within that field. So you don't have to wait for it. You don't, but it will wait after 20 until all 20 of them are done in whatever way. So in this case, things will come out of order. They were kicked off in order, though. That's something to note. But they came back in the order that they responded back to Ansible. All right, so that worked. And then what if I said servers? Would servers do all of them? Servers should be a mix of Hammer and Rockies. Most of the Rockies first, because they were kicked off first, but maybe some Hammers before a Rocky. Nope. But there were all the Rockies and all the Hammers. Okay, I'm good with that. And that's the same net effect as all. That's a big part of a couple things here. One, that right there shows you how powerful Ansible is. I just hit all of the boxes in my environment that matter for this project. Like that. I can touch them all. I can get a report out from them. Some of you guys have seen this. Yeah, so our user login. We were doing this the other day. So I can just run this against my environment. And let me, what is that password here? Typically that. All right, that's gonna run. And then over here in Discord, when that's done, hold on. That's gonna run. We're gonna go over here in Discord and we're gonna sit in Sandbox. And I'm gonna put my hands up here so you see that there's nothing up my sleeves. I'm not touching my keyboard in any way. I've got my hands right here. When this is done, it's gonna send out over here, and I'm gonna see what logins have happened in all that environment right there. And by the way, I just have to set this up as a cron job once a day, and it'll automate this. And then while we're doing the course, this will just let me know if people are using the systems or not. It's not for anything other than me, right? I'll just go grab everything. Use the logins. It'll dump right here. Hands up here. Hands up. Look. Hold on. There it goes. Boom. No user logins in the last 24 hours to any of that stuff. But if I showed you guys all, some of you guys know how to log into the systems. Some of you don't. You'll learn that in the course. The course shows you how to log into our environment. Man, that music's terrible. Hold on. Can I dislike that track and never hear it again? Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that horn was doing in the background, but it sounded like the guy had a horn and he was rubbing it on a balloon and like scraping over like chalk, nails on a chalkboard or something. That was no good. All right. Anyway, so look. By the way, in the course, I also will open up. I want to say it's in the Ansible week. I will build a webhook for you guys, and you guys will have access to a webhook, and then you will be able to. You will take that webhook and you will be able to write your own stuff out to here in our Discord, and that'll be one of your projects is actually to get stuff pushed in. And some of you guys have seen this before, but I'll show this. People did this last time, right? It's right here. People were pushing. We don't do a lot in Sandbox, guys, but this was like Colchis was doing for the different servers that he was hitting. He was sending us over a drift report if people had added or removed packages on the system and what had changed. So he has a drift report now. Because one of the things that I like to do in systems, when I get to a system and I'm responsible for it, I like to touch everything every day. And I look for a couple things. One is any unreachable system. I want to know any system that's down. Give me that. Another one is I want to know any system that's rebooted in the last 24 hours. Because anything that's rebooted and come back up isn't going to get caught because it's reachable. But if it's an anomalous state, or let's say it came up clean and nobody was ever going to catch it, now we're going to catch it because we just get a report of who hasn't been up for 24 hours. And then we can at least just go ask why. Maybe somebody was on it. Maybe it's a test system and it's fine. But in prod systems, I never want my systems going down outside of a window. Even if I have extensive front-end load balancers and checks and all that, it's still a system dying in the middle of some operation. That's not good. I don't care what redundancy you build into stuff. That is not a good thing. You say, oh, well, I have a queue, and then the queue would not process for 30 seconds, and then it would come back, and then it would run again on a different system, and it's good. I only lose 45 seconds, and I go, that's cool. Would you like that in your banking app? Right? Nobody's going to be happy with that kind of stuff, right? So we have other things that'll fix that. But I'm just saying, like, in the systems world, I don't want my systems doing that kind of garbage. I want to know if they've flapped in any way so I can go figure out what's going on with them, right? And that's just another check. And you say, well, couldn't you have a log? Yeah, you could have all kinds of logging. But sometimes logging becomes so much noise, and people are fantastically bad at looking at logs. Even if you intend to look at logs, you're not good at it. Your system's much better at it, like Splunk and these different tools and stuff. They're better at it than you are, but even then, like, you still get so much noise. Most people won't look at logs for very long. So we want to be alerted to things that are anomalous, right? Things that are different. All right. Hey, oh, geez, man. We're back to terrible. I'm okay with jazz, but some of it, that's too much. Here we go. Light beat, chill music. All right. That stuff right there with Ansible, that's only guys, that's only the start of it. Like, these little ad hoc things I was running, you start to get into the playbooks, right? And then now we're going and we're hitting. We've got a vault, so our secrets are kept safe, right? Keep a secret, keep it safe. Then we go and we look at just logins for the system that were from the server that we care about, right? That's what that's doing. And then I need to actually change. Hold on, let's go look something up real quick. I want to look this. I could also check in the man pages. Last command, only 24 hours. Let's see if somebody's got that in a blog. There is a. No, that's files. We could also do that just to see how many files were created. This one will do the last. No, I don't want that. We could do, yeah, we could use dash F. All right, let's do this. So let's man last. We'll look for dash capital F like they said. And that's the full times. But do they have an option until specified time? Okay, might be able to. Since. Here we go. Here we go. Display the state of login since a specified time. So it could be now minus 1 day. Typically. Since and until together. Okay. Let's see if they'll give us an example. Sometimes at the bottom of this, it'll give you an example of that, right? Not always. Not always. It looks like we're not going to get an example. But they do give us our year, month, day, hour, minutes, seconds. That's pretty standard, by the way, guys. That's a pretty standard way to see things. All right. So we can say since yesterday. Right? Understand the following format. So I should be able to say dash S. So I see none, right? But if that's just my werewolf server because nobody's been on it. So, before I answer this, does anybody know why that's different? Anybody know why that's not working on this one, but it does work on this one? God. All right, that's also going to be some. So hold on, where's my? Let's go to COM board. These are things that I got to get working before. My projects. Where's my projects? Let's call this. Let's just do a new project real quick, and let's call this Linux admin courses, right? And that's fine. We'll just leave it like that. All right. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna go to the board, right? I prefer looking at things on a board. So if you guys have never used the con board, here's what we're going to do. Here's my backlog. One with Rocky 9.4. Rebuild P01 jump 01 and move over all his workloads, including the Bastion portion before Linux admin and security courses start, right? As you guys might have noticed if you looked at some of my other Kanban boards, it doesn't matter if you have Kanban if you ignore it all the time, right? By the way, this one's ready. So I'll move it over there. And then this is going to be, I have to do this. I'll probably do this weekend because I really want, well, one, I want to clean up. I mean, if you guys don't know, P01 Jumpo 1 has been with us since, God, 2017 maybe? He's a CentOS 7 box. Gotta retire him. Gotta finally have him give up the ghost. All right, so we'll do that, and then as I get more things, I have like work from the guys that I have to put over here too. Now you might say, well, Scott, don't you also have that tracked over in GitHub? Yeah, I do actually have stuff tracked over there, but stuff that I need to build for the lab, I need to have it popping up so I see it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So these will be things that I'll be doing on stream here soon too, because I do need to rebuild him. We won't rebuild him in place. We'll do like a hermit crab. We'll build a new box, get him all the way built up the way he needs. Then what we'll do is we'll eventually we'll test the functionality on that box, make sure things work the way that we want, make sure our jails are happening, do all the regression testing we want. Because again, 8 years of functionality, that's a lot. Then what we'll do is we'll move P01 Jumpo 1 off of the .245 address, and we'll move the new one in. Then we'll do all our testing again in place, make sure he's good. But we'll leave P01 Jumpo 1 up on like a different address for a while, so I can still pull things off. I can go look at the way that things were done, but he will no longer be exposed out to the general world. We'll have that be the newer system that's a little more locked down and secured, and that'll be good. All right. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's what I'm working on. Fucking. Oh, anyways, that to answer your question, that's because that's too old. That doesn't have that option probably built in yet. Yep, not in there. Yeah, this thing doesn't have the functionality of since and last, or since and until. That's funny. Yeah, if you guys don't use Scholar, Google Scholar, that's such a good site for you guys if you're working in there. Why do I have? Yeah, look, there's all these they've got other things that you can build into it. Hold on. Why does that? It's strange to me that I can't set that. My profile alerts. No. I have I want this in dark mode. I thought I could put this in dark mode, which is funny because my default browser is to dark mode, so I'm surprised that that's coming up like that. Anyways, we'll get rid of it so he's not bugging us anymore. All right. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question there, though, that last isn't going to work because it's not there. And when they say yesterday, that's only going to show. So we're going to have to run this late at night then, I guess. Yeah, we'll just do it at the end of the day and say for today. This will be logins for today for me. So, Hayes, you missed week 1. Oh, no, you haven't missed week 1 yet. We haven't started. The course starts next week. Yeah, Hayes, you didn't miss anything. Hold on, let me start over. You missed the whole thing last year. This is round 2 of it. You did not miss. No. The course starts on the 22nd. But for people, by the way, for people that want to get ahead, it's all recorded. And if you go in the book, it's all recorded there. So yeah, Hayes, you didn't miss anything yet. But it was last year that we ran it. We ran it all the way up until early January. And then the guys were like, when are we going to do it again? When are we going to do it again? And I'm like, all right, we'll do it in March. So we're going to start in March, and then we're going to start the Linux security course too, which I'll be building the security course as we go. So that'll be that'll be what that is. Oh, did the wife get? Yes, the wife's bringing me foods. What's going on here? Hold on, I got to check on my stuff real quick. All right. All right. Sorry, got my phone out. Yeah, the courses are coming up. I have some little things that are alerting people over on the Twitch side. YouTube side, I I probably should build some integrations that just dump stuff on the YouTube side. I don't think Nightbot does that though. I don't think Nightbot's set up for YouTube. I can check that though. Um, I guess I can do some timers. I have some like I have a streamer bot that'll do stuff, and then I have the speaker bot that'll do the text to speech stuff. I just don't have anything interesting to do with that. Maybe if I had you guys, maybe I'll do like a channel point redeem, but that would still only help Twitch people. YouTube guys, like if you wanted to text to speech and ask a question or something, it wouldn't help you really there. Hazy got a custom bot written in Perl, you barely understand. You know, we have a couple of projects, a couple of the guys run down in our Discord on, we've got a bot that you can ask anything you want, but it responds to you like a crusty old systems, like Unix guy. So if you come over here to like general, you can ask it anywhere, but what is C groups in Linux? So you ask what are C groups in Linux and it'll tell you. And the bot's rude as crap. If you guys can't tell, it said C groups, short for control. Hold on, I gotta fix this real quick. This is busted. All right, that's back. The bot's really rude. C groups, short for control groups, are a Linux kernel feature that allows you to limit, prioritize, and account for the resource usage of processes. Fair. If you don't know what that means, you probably shouldn't be messing with them. They're not for script kiddies. But you can ask the bot things. The bot also has a couple of kind of hidden functions that it does in the different environments. And you'll find them if you try to ask me questions by my real name. That's one. If you say hi, it'll just say hi back to you. But yeah, the bot's always doing stuff in the environment. Also, the bot does alert when we hit like certain channel goals. Like when we hit 3,500 people in the server, it said hey or whatever. It did some like big thing. I don't remember. So Fisherman's got that all set up for that. Well, okay. What else were we doing? Let's pull this up, and then let's pull this back up. Where's that at? Okay. Let's, what else do we want to do? I don't want to build any labs right now. We could do labs. We could keep cleaning up some of the stuff that we've been working on. But maybe we'll save some of that stuff for tomorrow. But we've been building this right here, right? This is what an admin needs to know about a service. And then in a bunch of our different labs, we were talking about like NFS, right? And what do you need to know? Like if you're an admin and somebody asks you an NFS question, like what do you need to know about NFS, right? And I would say these are the things that I would posit as a guy who's been around a while. You need to know, like, is NFS installed? Because if somebody's asking you about NFS on a server and NFS isn't there, well, that could solve a lot of their problems with their, like, NFS isn't working. Now, you might say, well, shouldn't your first question be, well, was it working before? Well, yeah, but you got to understand, sometimes users will just put in a ticket and say this isn't working, and then you'll be in there digging around, right? Because maybe you're a junior guy and you're digging around. And then, like, after, like an hour or two, you ask them, and they're like, oh, no, these are brand new servers. I was just checking to see if it was set up, and you're like, I was trying to fix it, right? Because you're in fix-it mode. As when you're an operations person, you're always trying to fix things. But people will send you tickets that are really engineering tickets, right? It's really a problem with the build. Anyways, where I'm going with that is, you want to know, is it installed? Is it running? Where is it configured? Where are the logs and errors? Because that's how we find out what's going on. And then is there a monitoring solution? Could we verify what's going on? Right. That's like admin stuff. So anyways, we have all this. We were doing this, and then I have a bunch more of these to do. We could start doing those. We just hands-on labs and stuff. But I think because the wife is actually coming home for a few minutes before her game, I might hop off of here. So what I'll tell you guys is, keep working on this stuff. Anything you're doing to get ready for that Linux sysadmin course is going to be good. Like if you're like, hey, I don't learn as fast as other people, so I need to like read ahead. All the stuff's already recorded. You can go watch it. The book's free. The book's literally right here. It's free. All right, I'll link it to you guys again. This is free. It's still being written by some of the guys, And if you go, oh, that's kind of interesting, I want to get involved with that, they're doing that little writers group thing, right? So that's there for you guys. If you just want to get in there and start working on stuff early, you can do that from the book. The book will show you. The book's got all the stuff in it. I'm going to be referencing it when we do the course again. Other important things to note is I will be doing the live sessions on Saturdays, like it says. But if you're like, hey, I missed the live session, that's what the recordings are. Last time we did it, I did the live sessions with everybody. And then on Sundays, I got on and recorded almost, not quite word for word, but very similar to exactly what we had just done the night before. So a lot of people hung out for both, and hopefully they got more out of it. But really what you're going to get out of this is if you're doing the hands-on, the discussions, the labs, you're going and writing up your worksheets and learning stuff, right? It's weird having assignments, right? Not being in a college class but having assignments, but that's what we do for that class. So, all right, let's go find somebody to raid. I'm kind of getting beat over here, but we'll go to our little end of stream. You guys are welcome to hang out, down in the Discord, but let's go find somebody to raid that's doing something fun. We'll go raid, here's Tech. We'll go raid Clonk. So if you guys haven't been over there, he's always doing some kind of coding and some kind of fun stuff. So on the YouTube side, you guys can just hang out down in the Discord, and I'll see you guys later. So, all right, take care, everybody.